So I want you to pay attention. I've showed this stuff to you guys many times, but here's the Screen Gems logo from 1965. Watch. Now, it's a 6 and a 9, which creates the vortex. The vortex always goes down, and we know where down is. Yeah? And I said to you guys before that I believe that this was a beta test in the 60s to subconsciously and subliminally plant fear in children's minds, because this thing is actually called the S from Hell. The tone that it comes off of what's called a Moog synthesizer, and it's called a Bale tritone, or in Spanish, the devil in the music. And the Pied Piper was the one that stole all the children. Remember? So now I'm going to show you something else. Let's just watch this. Halloween 3-6. Test room A.
Mr. Cochran will be right along.
Don't like this place. It gives me the creeps. I have to go to the bathroom. Mommy.
Relax a minute, will you?
I want you to look. See the Masonic G? See it?
Mr. Cochran will be here and everything will be fine. Hey, just what's my opinion about some television commercials or something? You know, I still can't figure out why they won't take my orders for next year. You know how I like to work ahead, and well, they're just not interested at all.
Maybe they're not going to have Halloween next year.
Ha ha ha. All right, roll it.
You notice he changed the frequency right there. Watch. Frequency equals tone.
It's time. It's time. This is just the same old stuff.
It's come. All you lucky kids with silver shamrock masks, gather round your TV set. Put on your masks and watch.
Honey, don't get too close. You'll ruin your eyes.
Jack-o'-lanterns. Gather round and watch. Watch the magic pumpkin. Watch.
I think this whole thing is a big joke. I mean, look at this. I mean,
And so now, in my digging around, because normally I'll find things sometimes that I'm not even looking for, I'm going to show you something that is in the news constantly. And the other thing is kind of in the news constantly. But it'll make sense when I show you, because it's all working towards the same thing. We all know that this telecommunication shit is fucking with people's heads. We know it is. But that's just the RF radio frequency waves and stuff that they say are messing things up. The big thing that everybody's afraid of is the 5G. Right? That's what everybody's afraid of. Oh, the 5G is this and this. But the 5G is exactly what I just showed you in that video clip. Because the 5G got a manual picture of the inside of one of them boxes. They're called a mother box. Amazing that. It's called the mother box. And isn't this interesting? See this right here? Who normally sits right in the middle of these rings? Looney Tunes. Right? DBDBD, that's all, folks. See it? And so insanity sits at the center of this. And so this 5G box that was open with a tech working on it. So let me just show you that. And maybe some of the shit. Oh, it's all working towards the same thing. But let me just show you the high-tech end of it. That's pretty interesting. That's part of the integrated circuit board. I think that's pretty interesting. Let's see. And they keep talking about hotspots. They keep talking about hotspots where COVID-19 is. Let's see. So what we need to do is we need to find out where all the riots are going on. Because a hotspot, when you can run your laptop off of your cell phone. And if you go to the menu and you go to activate that, because they use your phone as a hotspot. And what are they telling you? That there's hot spots or spikes with this COVID. We need to go and find out when these 5G were installed in these cities where these riots are. Because just as I told you in 1965 that the Screen Gems was a beta test to see if they could scare the shit out of a whole nation of kids with the logo, they're doing the same thing right now. The people that they refer to as sleeper cells are now the ones that these kids that they're saying that they're woke, because the tone that this fucking thing is creating is what's putting their mind in a state of utter terror and destruction. When you saw the kid with the pumpkin head on and all the snakes and roaches, those are always in the occult, those are always equated to demons. So when they turn that on, it's like putting him in an altered state of mind, of a hellish mind, which is exactly what the old school of sodomy did to a child. Do you get it? Do you understand? Do you see how diabolical this shit is? The Shining is a story about is about pedophilia. Danny could see those things because Daddy was doing him. Because if you want to open the third eye upstairs between your eyes, there's another way you can do that, is by opening your third eye downstairs. This is what they're doing with the 5G. So I would take this video and I would post this fucking thing everywhere you can, because that's what's going on. I mean, for all I know, this could stand for covert occult video. I don't know. All I know is it's very weird that this is in a 5G box. And I've been doing videos for a long time, and I know that this is all based on tone. Hence, when you go to church, you ask for forgiveness through atonement. Okay? Do you remember this? Hold on. Now, most of you don't remember this, but I'll show it to you. Hang on. Try and get the whole thing squished in here. There you go. On October 4th, 1986, and I remember this, anchor Dan Rather was walking to his apartment in Manhattan when suddenly a man attacked him from behind. While he punched and kicked Dan Rather, who was a big news media outlet person at the time, the assailant repeatedly kept asking him one strange question. Kenneth, what's the frequency? Wow, imagine that. So if I was that far off, maybe some dude, before I got to this, maybe he didn't know the whole Saturnian thing, but he knew that there was something going on. See, do you get it? Are you following this? Does it make any sense to you? I'm telling you, these 5G in the occult means you're going to judgment. It's Mars. That's what Mars is. Mars is judgment on the Kabbalistic tree of life. It's number 5, which is interesting because the number 5 looks just like the symbol for Saturn, but it's not the occultic symbol, Mars. That's just the number that they assign to it on the tree of life. 1965. Screen Gems did the Baal tritone, which is the S from hell, and then just follow it up from there. Halloween 3, the tone. You go to church, you make atonement, right? You open the 5G box, and what's in there? A COV. It's something video. Whatever this thing is, I'm sure that these guys that they called sleeper cells were these kids that were sleeping that could be activated by tone. And I don't mean like they're asleep, subconsciously. Programs have been loaded into their heads through video games and TV and memes. Memes, these things called memes, they're a form of brainwashing. But if you do them in the correct order, you can subliminally plant stuff in the back of the mind. And I never follow those stupid things because I know what they're doing. So what they're doing, jihad, remember I told you what jihad is? Jihad isn't a bunch of dudes running around in the desert with black suits on, hanging around on monkey bars. Jihad is when you think a thought and you bring it from thought to manifestation. The G, which is up on the number 3 on the Saturn portion of the tree of life, it drops down to Had, which is the place of animation. In other words, when you take the thought and you bring it into reality by repeating things over and over again, like memes. That's what jihad really is. It isn't JHHAD. It's G/HOD. Jihad. I may not have this down exact, but the evidence is it's pretty conclusive. They've got people living in fear right now, and maybe this is exactly why people won't take those fucking masks off, because whatever this frequency is that's affecting them is because they've already been part of the program. And I don't even really consider this a theory because I've done 16,000 videos at this point. It's all kind of pointing that way. It all stems from some really bad people that are tied in with hell and are all about destroying the human race. Really, seriously. It's all about wiping us out. 5G is part of this whole thing. This COVID thing is crap. And I would bet if you tore down those towers, the spell would be broken, because nobody would be able to hear the tone, and they would just snap out of it. They brainwashed a gazillion kids. That's why they're running around acting insane like they are. No kid would act that crazy. Kids don't have that attention span. These kids that are doing this is more than brainwashing. Most people don't have the oomph to keep going and going and going. They're doing this subliminally. And so you saw my evidence, so weigh it out for yourself. It's all there, and it's what they're doing. And it's exactly why this guy's got the black star on there, because that represents her. The devil wears Prada.